probably the worst of the franchise. So this video might be triggering for some people because a lot of people love this movie. This video might trigger you if you are a fan of this franchise. Alright, what's up? We are back with another video. Alright, so as you see, we're talking about one of the worst Halloween movies in the franchise. Alright, so I was just wondering myself, I was like, you know, I'm gonna talk about Halloween for the next video. And I typed in a few things. I typed in, what is the worst Halloween movie? The worst Halloween movie is generally considered to be Halloween Resurrection from 2002. It's often criticized for its plot inconsistencies, unlikable characters, and generally a weak storyline that includes Michael Myers surviving a previous film's ending and a bizarre kung fu scene. What? Resurrection is with Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks. Oh yeah, and Ryan Merriman is in this movie. We know him from a lot of other things also. Sean Patrick Thomas. You know, it had a slew of people in it. You know, still hated it. If you haven't seen it, this is what it's about. The original House of Horrors, the dilapidated home of infamous serial killer Michael Myers, has now become the set of a webcam reality show. But when the veteran slasher discovers that a group of university students has taken over his old killing grounds, he decides it's time to bring the blaze out of retirement. So that's the back, you know, that's an overview of what it's about in case you didn't know, in case you forgot. This says, here's why it's considered the worst. Resurrection's plot holes. The film tries to explain how Michael Myers survived the events of Halloween H2O, but the explanation is considered convoluted and unsatisfying. Unlikable characters. The characters in the film, particularly the ones participating in the online reality show within the movie, are often described as annoying and difficult to root for. That's very true. The movie features a scene with Busta Rhymes using kung fu moves against Michael Myers, which many find to be jarring and ridiculous departure from the series' tone. Disappointing ending. Now listen to this, because I'm confused. The death of Laurie Strode in this film is also a major point of contention for many fans. Huh? Hold on. Hold that thought. What? I'm finna read you this. It says, yes, Laurie Strode dies in Halloween Resurrection. She is killed by Michael Myers at the beginning of the film after being trapped in a sanitarium. This death is later retconned when Laurie Strode is brought back in 2018 Halloween movie, which ignores the events of Resurrection and subsequent sequels. So, hold that thought again. Hold that thought again. Laurie Strode appears in 7 Halloween movies. The original Halloween, 1978. Halloween 2, 1981. Halloween H2O, 20 years later. I think that's when she's a teacher and she has a fake son. That's 1998. Then Halloween Resurrection, 2002. Halloween Kills, 2021. And then you have Halloween Ends, 2022. I'm confused. How can she die in... Laurie appears in the first 2 films, the original Halloween and Halloween 2, which are part of the initial storyline. Halloween H2O timeline. Halloween H2O ignores the events of Halloween 4 through 6 and creates a new timeline where Laurie has been living under an assumed name. H2O sequel, Halloween Resurrection, what? Continues the H2O timeline. following Laurie after the events of H2O. Then you have the 2018 reboot, which just ignores everything else that happened and just jumps right to being a sequel from 1978. Ignoring everything else. It says it right here that it ignores all the other sequels except the first film. Then in Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends are direct sequels to the 2018 film, concluding the storyline with Laurie's final confrontation with Michael Myers. Yeah, sure, they end up making another one, I'm sure. This makes no sense. I'm here to talk about the worst Halloween movie, and I'm just proving that this franchise is overrated and it makes absolutely no sense. You cannot make 5, 6, 7, all these movies, then ignore all the stuff that you did over here, and then jump to 2018 and say, forget about all this other stuff we wrote about Laurie. We're just gonna focus on that first movie. So that's why I'm confused where it says Laurie really died in this resurrection movie. So how did she come back? This makes no sense. They say she really died. This is her death right here. She died and he came back in 2018. In Halloween 2018, Laurie Strode returns because the film exists in separate timelines that disregards the events of Halloween, Resurrection, and all the other sequels after original Halloween and Halloween 2. This new timeline was created to allow for a direct sequel for the first two films with Laurie as a survivor. So it ignores that she had a child, had a daughter, then a son. This is just insane. Let's get back to what we are talking about at hand, about this resurrection movie that they say this is the worst. That's what leads me to say that this franchise is overly rated. You know, we're talking about what's the worst Halloween movie, but honestly, aren't they all? You could leave the first one alone, I guess, but aren't the rest of them, if they don't even add to the storyline? It makes no sense. The Halloween franchise, while iconic, has faced criticism for being overrated due to inconsistent quality across its many sequels, reliance on predictable tropes, and in some cases, a departure from what made the original film effective. While the first film is considered a classic, some argue that subsequent entries often fail to recapture the same level of suspense and atmosphere, relying instead on gore and jump scares. Additionally, the franchise has been criticized for inconsistent character development, particularly with Michael Myers, and sometimes feeling like a pale imitation of other slasher franchises. It's too hyped up. It's overrated. The whole franchise is overrated. All right, so this leads me to what Halloween movies don't count as a part of the Halloween franchise. Only Halloween movie that isn't part of the main Michael Myers franchise is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It says Halloween 3 stands alone. It doesn't feature Michael Myers, so what's the point? What's the point of it? This is Halloween 3. Hospital emergency room, Dr. Daniel, Dan, Chalice, and Ellie Grimbridge, the daughter of a murder victim, uncover a terrible plot by a small-town mask maker, madman who's planning a Halloween mass murder utilizing an ancient Celtic ritual. What? The ritual involves a boulder stolen from a Stonehenge, the use of silver shamrock masks, and a triggering device contained in a television commercial. What? All designed to kill millions of children. That don't even make sense in itself. I don't understand what they're talking about. Somebody said this movie doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't even know if I saw this one or not. They all look stupid. I don't get it. Something else that doesn't make sense. Did Michael Myers have a baby ever? Yes, in the Halloween movie series, specifically in Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. Michael Myers' niece, Jamie Lloyd, which is, I thought was supposed to be Laurie's daughter. Jamie Lloyd gives birth to a son named Stephen Lloyd. The movie implies that the cult of Thorn played a role in the conception, possibly through an artificial insemination or a more sinister ritual. Michael Myers is ultimately the child's grandfather. Something says, why did Michael Myers have a baby with his niece? Then it says, in the Halloween movie storyline, Michael Myers did not have a baby with his niece. Jamie Lloyd, who is Michael's niece, the daughter of his sister Laurie Strode, does give birth to a son in the film Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. However, this is not a consensual or loving relationship. Jamie is kidnapped and forced to conceive the child by the cult that worships Michael. Michael in turn attempts to kill the baby and anyone connected to it as part of his ongoing killing spree. That nowhere says that that's not his baby. We are believed to see that that's his kid. That when in these later films, he doesn't even have a niece. Laurie doesn't even have children. It just doesn't make sense. They just go on and on and on and on and on with these movies, and they don't make sense. Like, that's my point in making this video. Like, started out talking about the worst one, but in turn, this video is just about the Halloween franchise itself and how the whole franchise has so many, like, inconsistencies, so many things that don't make sense. And that's why I don't consider this to be like that great of a franchise. Yes, like I said, we'll count the first one because that's what we grew up with. That's what we known to be like a great slasher. They've always put him in the box with Jason, you know, that's around the same time. So of course we're gonna automatically say that's one of the greatest movies ever, you know, but like something said that I read in another video I did about the Halloween for 1978, they say he's just in a William Shatner mask with a knife. Like, he doesn't really do anything else. He's not like Jason, you know, and all these other killers out there. He's just, you know, he's supposed to be mental, you know, and kept in a sanitarium all his life, but he knows how to drive. He knows how to do things that I feel like he wouldn't learn if he was locked up his whole life. The next minute, Laurie's his sister. The next minute, she's not his sister. The next minute, he had a baby with his niece. The next minute, he didn't have a baby. The next minute, Laurie's alive and then she's dead. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is one of the most confusing franchises. So that alone just makes me feel like it's not that great like they try to portray it to be. That's just being honest. And that's my opinion. And other people may feel the same. They may not. Like, that's why I said this movie may trigger you. Because so many people think that Halloween is just the greatest franchise ever. It's the only franchise where they just won't leave it alone. Like, we have other movies that they keep, you know, making, like Scream and all that, but I feel like Halloween, they're never gonna leave it alone. They're never gonna leave it alone. They act like the last one was the last one, but it won't be. Hopefully it is, but anyway, I think I got the point across about this franchise. Let me know what you think about this. I wanted to go more in depth about Halloween for a while now, and I've done it, and that might be it for now. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I drop videos here every week. Alright, but this is my second video this week. So hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.